Hi everyone, my name is Lucia Galliano, and today I'll be talking to you all about my research topic. But first, here's a quick question. How many of you have watched the show 13 Reasons Why? Did it make you uncomfortable? I remember when I first watched the show, there were so many scenes that made me uncomfortable that eventually I stopped watching the show altogether. I remember thinking about the effect that would have on other teens like me due to all the violence depicted. That is what led me to wanting to research how coming of age movies and TV shows that depict mental illness affect teens. Now, as I started researching, I found out that there was a lot of romanticization and sensationalism about mental illness that was being shown on coming of age media. That's when I decided to switch my research question into what is the impact that the sensationalization of mental illness in the media has on teenagers. Once I started researching for this, I found a source that analyzed the effect that the show 13 Reasons Why had on high risk teens. These teens were receiving treatment for their mental health, and the study actually found that the idea of committing suicide increased in over half the population that was studied after they only watched one episode. One of the main issues from 13 Reasons Why is how it depicts suicide as a way to get revenge on those who hurt you. It is sad to see real individuals relating to this after watching just one episode of the show. In addition, Jesse Yu's article, From Stigmatized to Sensationalized for the National Alliance of Mental Illness, NAMI, explains the complicated history that the media has with mental health. The article explains that there are different genres of media that glamorize mental illness, such as the news, social media, and TV. She especially thinks that the portrayal of mental illness on screen is dangerous for young adults since they are still impressionable. Yu brings in the idea that mental illness is portrayed as beautifully tragic, and young adults do not see the real danger with this depiction. In addition, she brings in the perspective that the media has taught people that they can excuse their behaviors by saying they have a mental illness. For example, if someone is being a jerk, they can say they are bipolar and it will be more socially acceptable. However, this can be dangerous for people who are actually bipolar because they may have trouble controlling their emotions. Finally, Yu touches on how we can be better in the future. She explains that it is up to us to continue talking about this and breaking down the misconceptions of mental illness in the media. This article was written to shine a light on how mental illness is depicted incorrectly in the media. Yu is attempting to inform the audience about the problem and give a solution to it. This is apparent when Yu explains that after watching shows like 13 Reasons Why, the suicide rates increase. This is showing a direct correlation between the negative portrayal of mental illness and its negative effect on teens. Yu wants the audience to realize this and actively work to stop this from happening. These findings align with Alexandra Yoon in her TED Talk about how the media glamorizes mental illness. She explains that young teens are impressionable and want to be like the main characters in their favorite shows. For example, they may want to be like Hannah, the main character in 13 Reasons Why, who commits suicide as a way to get revenge on her friends. However, teens don't realize that these characters are being depicted as having a mental illness in an unrealistic way. One aspect that all of these sources have in common is their use of exigence and kairos. Around the time that 13 Reasons Why was released, so around the late 2010s, many people began voicing their opinions on how it might negatively affect the young audience that watched it. All of the sources that I have found were composed around this time. This shows kairos since mental health was important at the time that they were made. Besides this, there is the composer's use of exigence. The health of teenagers is something that has always been and always will be prevalent. The sources here analyze how teens' mental health is being affected by the inaccurate portrayal of mental illness in the media. After conducting research, my thoughts on this topic have become much more passionate. Reading that those teens were negatively affected by that show while being in such a sensitive state of mind makes me feel like the companies who run our media should be doing better. If they're going to have characters with mental illnesses, they need to be portrayed accurately. I've heard that the show Euphoria accurately depicts mental illness in its characters because it provides depth into what they're experiencing. This is what movies and TV shows and media companies, production companies should be doing more. Besides this, I would still like to do more research on the effect of sensationalized media on people in general. I think it is an interesting topic because we are constantly surrounded by the media. And I encourage you to do the same because it might change your perspective on what you're reading. Thank you.